Hey there, everybody. Thanks again for joining us on another episode of the Lyme Boss. We've got some really special guests today from Tickwise, yeah?
Yep.
Wise.
Moms are back, sick-wise.
I meant to ask that beforehand and I totally forgot. Thank you. Tickwise, yeah, Three Moms Organic. Super excited. Have never had a guest like this on, talking about a product that's Lyme specific. So really excited to jump into these ladies' stories. But first, I'm Heather Gray, known as the Lyme Boss, and I help tired professionals with debilitating digestive issues, constant brain fog. I can't talk today, which is not good for a podcast host.
Brain
And
fog.
brain fog, but my brain fog's gone. I don't know what's going on this morning. Um, and widespread pain. If I'm still trying out a new tagline, so maybe that's just it. I need to work through it a little bit. Anywho, here we go. If you're still searching for answers, it could be undiagnosed Lyme, just like it was for me. Over 28 years of undiagnosed Lyme, I've reversed 2 out of 3 of my autoimmune diseases, and I no longer have suicidal thoughts. I help professionals overcome the same issues and get them on the other side of Lyme so that they can live a vibrant, productive, joy-filled life. Let's work together and overcome Lyme and reclaim your life. So I'm super excited to jump in today. And Lisa-Jane, do you prefer LJ? I heard Kammy calling you LJ.
Okay. Yep.
LJ,
LJ's.
fabulous. So we got LJ and Kammy. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. I'm super excited. I love your podcast, by the way.
Ah,
I've become a big fan.
oh,
And
shut up. Half the time I don't even know people listen. I swear I just put this stuff out and I'm still kind of shocked. I had the craziest thing happen at a networking event just a month ago, though. I walked into this networking event and I started talking to this woman and she saw my name tag, said Lyme Boss, and she got these great big eyes and she looked at me and I was like, oh shit, what did I say? What did I do? And she turns around, she goes, look at what I've been listening to. And she showed me my podcast and I was like, oh my God, that just was like such a crazy, awesome moment. So I appreciate your guys' support and love and continuing to spread the word, right? Because awareness, education, like that's the key to us, getting out of this crazy ass Lyme epidemic that we're in, right?
yep. And
Absolutely.
that's our plan. That's why we started. Like you, I suffered for many years in the 20s, saw over 50 doctors. I was diagnosed with early Alzheimer's, MS, lupus. I had 17 UTIs in 1 year. I wound up with digestive issues. You name it, joint pain, knee replacements, wrist surgeries, chronic sore throats. I actually lost my hearing, which is for me one of the worst parts of being so affected for so long, because I really loved listening to the birds, and my kids really get annoyed with me because they have to repeat everything 3 times.
What? Yeah.
So that's actually, you would think that that's the least devastating, but all the symptoms I was left with, that's the hardest to deal with.
I can totally imagine.
Yeah, brain fog, memory issues. I forgot how to tie my shoes. I left my kids' places. I forgot how to turn on the sink.
Hold on. You left your kids' places?
Yeah.
Oh, Mom, how often did that happen?
Just once.
Just once. That had to have been heartbreaking.
It was
scary as hell.
They don't remember. And I left them at a friend's house. I didn't leave them like in the
grocery store.
Yeah. But I just didn't, it wasn't computing. Things just don't compute when you're that sick with neurological Lyme disease. My ex-husband, best friend, love the guy. We just vacationed together. He wound up in the hospital for 8 weeks. Couldn't stop trembling, had truncal shakes, nystagmus in his eyes.
Oh.
It took him probably close to 1.5 years to recover, and he left the hospital with the same diagnosis as me, which was MS. So yeah, it's scary.
Good God. Absolutely. And so where are you at now on your health journey, in your Lyme journey?
So I wound up finding a great doctor in Mount Kisco, New York, and I was treated for 1 year on oral antibiotics and 3 months on IV with PICC line. So I have to say I was significantly better, like about 70% better. My tremors had slowed up, a bunch of things. after the oral, the switching up of the antibiotics for every 3 months. But on the third day of my IV antibiotics, I was like, bing, the whole world opened up. I was like, wow, I hadn't seen color for 20 years. It was amazing. It was like I was awakened and
Like
stayed
that scene in what was that? The Wizard of Oz, right? Where the whole beginning's
exactly,
white and she gets
exactly.
out of the house and it's Technicolor.
It's so funny. I've used that before.
Yeah.
So 100%. And from there, I couldn't use deep products. So I stopped going outside. I was a naturalist by nature. I worked for the Bronx Zoo outside. I was a landscaper. I went to school for landscape design and science. And I had to stop going outside because I was terrified, of getting sick. So, and anytime I used a DEET product, I would be sick for days after. So DEET is a neurotoxin, and anything with SLS or parabens or whatever really affect my system. So we came up with this product that is all natural, and I feel safe.
Okay, before we jump into that, I want to hear Cammy's story really quick.
Sorry.
But no, that's awesome. Thank you. Great. I mean, what a story, and that's amazing and gives people hope and inspiring. And yes, I'm excited too. I'm like chomping at the bit to hear more about it too. But I want to hear about Kammy first.
Sure. So, it's interesting because we live in a tick endemic area, and I have had Lyme disease twice. But unlike you and LJ, I was lucky enough to get it nipped early in the whole, disease cycle, right? I was on 2 or 3 weeks, which probably honestly wasn't even enough, but for whatever reason, my body was able to clear it with that. And I'm incredibly grateful, right? Because I hear,
Hallelujah. Absolutely.
LJ and I have been friends for a long time. So I was there when her husband was sick. I was there during her journey. Really you just can't even believe it, right? It's so shocking. So I feel very fortunate, but the terror of the ticks, right? I mean, the most dangerous animal in our woods are ticks, these little tiny little creatures, and they terrify, they still terrify me. And so everybody in our community, and really in so many places throughout the country, they're scared of ticks, and with good reason. But again, this is kind of why we got into it. We want to go out into the woods. We want to go out into nature. And that's what kind of led us to Tickwise and Three Moms Organics.
And
it's so bizarre because the PTSD is freaking legit real. Like the triggering, and it's such a double-edged sword because Mother Nature is healing, right? We need the vitamin D, we need the grounding from the earth, we need the fresh air. Like, it is healing, and at the same time, you've got this critter out there that's like stealthy, nasty ninja, jack your shit up for decades type of thing. So it's a very double-edged sword. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, LJ. What were you saying?
That, we want our kids to go outside and enjoy what's going on, and that's their best education instead of sitting on TikTok. But it's terrifying to know that this could change their lives. But I wanted to say more about Cam because she's very modest, but she has her undergrad in environmental science and her graduate degree in entomology.
Okay.
We work together at Town Natural Resources. She's got amazing credentials. So I just
I have to say I joined Three Moms Organics in 2022, and it's been a thrill because I do have this background in environmental science and in entomology. So it's kind of coming full circle because I was in sales previously. So I'm just happy to be doing something that, is good for the environment and has the whole entomology angle, which of course I don't love ticks, but I love all insects.
It's amazing when you can blend the worlds together because it's all connected. And so I have such a hard time when I work with clients and I'm trying to teach them about our carbon footprint, right? As well as, because it's so different than what the rest of the world is living right now. And this world is not set up. It's not conducive for health and for environmental health, right? And you've got to look at them both. And it can be a little overwhelming for folks, but it's been fun trying to see how I can weave that more into my practice as well with folks, because, if our earth is sick, this stuff is only going to continue to get worse, right? As we've seen, so awesome kudos to you ladies for doing such awesome work in both that that space and then the other space. So yeah, how did you ladies come up with, or how did that happen? Like so you're sick with DEET, right? You can't use it. It's knocking you on your butt. So go from there.
So, a friend of mine had made this product for me. I was a TA in a pre-K, and she made this product that was all natural, made from essential oils, and it worked. And I was like, how, because I suffered for so long, my goal has always been to talk about tick-borne diseases, explain what's happening. Guys, you don't know what's out there. Be really careful. I've always been very, very vocal about this. And so when I found this essential oil really worked, I was like, we need to bring this to market, not necessarily for income, although that would be helpful. But if we could stop one person from getting as sick as I did because they use this product and they feel safe and comfortable using TickWise every day, then we have done the world a service, I feel.
One of the things that we hear from our customers, and I know it's true, I've been using the product for years, and when you're going to go outside into your garden or go for a hike for, maybe you're going out into your garden for 20 minutes, you don't want to put the nasty chemicals on. I mean, nobody wants that. So the nice thing is people respond to this product because it's effective and they're not scared to put it on. And so they're getting more prevention. I mean, they're really protecting themselves. So it's been, that's like so rewarding to me when people are like, I put it on every morning when I go outside for my walk. It makes me feel good because, again, the stories that what I lived in, it wasn't even that terrible for me when I had Lyme's, but it could have been. And knowing what other people like yourself, Heather, and LJ have gone through, it's like, I just wanted people to be safe. Yeah. That's what we really want.
We always say we made limeade out of Lyme.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I ask people quite often, like, what are the gifts of Lyme disease? And they look at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like yeah. I just insulted them. I'm like, no, seriously. Like I have gotten so many gifts from overcoming this disease and then helping others on this route. Like, I'm not sure. I felt like I was going to die the majority of the time when I had Lyme, but I know damn well if I would have continued down the lifestyle I was on before I got Lyme, I probably would be dead right now. Right. So what a blessing it's made to me to put my self-care, my health in the forefront instead of on the back burner like most Americans, fast-paced, burn the candle at both ends are doing these days, right? So yeah, there is some limeade out of Lyme. Like that's brilliant. And how awesome. Like I thought it was so cool when I heard there was like these clothes that were treated with these things and they last up to so many washes, which can be great. But man, at the same time, I was thinking, I'm like, your clothes, that's on your skin 24/7. So whatever they've treated that with, like, how is that not getting into my system? Like, I'm a little weary about that.
Very dangerous chemical, for hunters and stuff. I would say, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Lay down in those clothes for your 3 days that you're hunting. Not that I believe in hunting, but people do. And, that's all good. It's just not for me. Right. But for walking your dog for 20 minutes, you're going to be putting on permethrin. Like that's just we always suggest put permethrin on your shoes, put them outside. You have a layer of sock in between. Wear permethrin on your shoes because that's the first line of defense. Right. You put us everywhere else, but permethrin on your shoes is always a great first line of defense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. And then so it was this friend. So have you changed her original recipe up since then, or how did that come about?
Interesting that you say that. So we were making that recipe and we get a call from an email from the New York State DEC saying you need to halt all production of the product.
Oh shit.
Like what? She's like, let me see a label. I'm like, but it's all natural. Like it totally flipped. She's like, take no more making the product. You have to go around, get everything off the shelves that you sold it to. And I'm like, but it's all natural. I just totally wasn't understanding. And she's like, kept sending me these links, right, for the EPA and pesticide. And I'm like, but we're not a pesticide. She's like, oh, you are. Anything that claims to mitigate or repel an insect falls under the umbrella of a pesticide, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
I think my head's going to explode.
yeah, thank goodness it was September. We only had like that summer, we only had like $17,000 in sales. That was our first summer. So not bad, right? Like we were all
That's not bad at
excited.
all. Yeah.
Our first 1,000, we were like, woohoo. Thank God it was September. And what I wound up doing for the rest of that year, my kitchen looked like an apothecary. I had bottles and jars and old containers filled with different oils with different colors. I had each oil had a specific color. Each, like, we were trying out things with SLS. We were trying aloe. We were putting, like, I was trying all sorts of different things to see what would work and what would. And interestingly enough, I was going to school to be a science teacher and I failed chemistry, which is why I never became a science teacher. But I used what little I did learn to try to figure out, you know, I went down many rabbit holes, not only EPA rabbit holes, because everything is in governese, you know, nothing is written in
Governese. I like that.
yeah. So I went down many rabbit holes to try to figure out how to make this product at the most natural state where it is going to work 100%. And that's what we did. So I spent that winter, I had stacks of papers, everything. My kids were like, where are we going to eat dinner? I'm like, I don't know. In your rooms. Like, I don't know. Where are you going to eat? I don't know.
There's a clean spot over there in the corner. Quick.
Exactly. Sit with the dog on the dog bed. But the result of that really terrifying and confusing time was an amazing product.
So really, I mean, and not only is it the EPA, under the auspices of the EPA, that's guiding what can be put into our product or any natural product, each state has their own pesticide bureau. And you need to go and send your label to each state, and they vet it by their own rules, which of course are totally different. California wants something different than New York. Connecticut wants something different than Indiana.
Good
So,
God.
I know, right? So I always really describe it as a Herculean task to get through that. And it really is, it's incredible. I mean, you look, every word on our label has been vetted by all these different states. And it's an enormous undertaking, but we got through it and here we are. So
And we also have to prove that it was effective. And you
That's
had
what
to,
I was just getting ready to ask. I'm like, you said it works 100% of the time. Now, little miss, I'm triggered with these things. Like, how do you test that?
so you have to send it away to us. We sent it to a laboratory called Snell Laboratories, and they have to test the product. So they actually have ticks that are raised there, so they know that there's no diseases.
That makes sense. I was thinking that you had to like go out in the woods with white clothes on and be like, look, there's
do that.
yes,
I actually do that to
Do you?
collect ticks. Yeah, well, that's a whole nother story. But I do that because before we had this efficacy data, I needed to prove somehow proof of concept. I needed to prove that it worked. The best way to do it was go on our own tick drags, put the ticks on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
and spray around the edge and show that ticks don't leave the paper. So I actually bought the Tyvek suit. I bought, you know, a dragger. Oh yeah. And then my son did his report for his 3 years of high school. They have this report and it was about ticks and diseases that they carry and how to control ticks via molds. It was kind of a very interesting project that he did, but he's a cool kid. Because he saw it affect the family so much.
Right. I mean, yeah, with your husband being in the hospital for over a year and then everything that you went through, I mean, that had to have been pretty traumatizing for the kids.
And my daughter wound up really sick because she was born with congenital Lyme.
Right.
So for her, she's going to Tulane.
Yeah.
So to hopefully become a PA, a physician's assistant,
Nice.
because she spent so much time dealing with doctor's appointments, it became kind of second nature to her.
Yeah.
So
It's fascinating. I mean, that's how I became a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, was going through my own thing, and this didn't work. And I had to, pivot quickly. And then I, went into the education myself, for mostly myself. But then after I started getting better, I started adding more tools, and then now, I've got to practice. But that's usually why I ask for people's stories and to begin with, because most people don't get into anything Lyme related unless they have a personal story. Even when I reopened up my business for the first year and a half, I didn't even touch Lyme. I was dealing with autoimmune, mental health, and weight loss. And people were like, Heather, wait, isn't your story Lyme? Why aren't you working with Lyme? And I'm like, have you met people with Lyme? Like, do you know how complex, how sick, like, a lot of times they're broke because they've already been to 20, 30 practitioners and all their money's gone. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not working with the Lyme folks. Like, I'm not doing it. And then I got like a Godsmack one morning, and I woke up and I was like, shit. I've been given this gift, right? How can I not be a light for others? And it's hard. It has been one of the hardest journeys I have ever gone through. And that includes getting over Lyme. Like, working in this field has been so hard, but it's so worth it. And like I said, it was just so awesome that there's ladies out there like you, like cutting edge. Like, I can't wait to get on your site and order some product and feel safe with my family. My husband just recently took up disc golfing, which is, out in fields a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I worry about him. And although I'm in Colorado, I know it lives here, but I know it's not as prevalent as it is where you guys are at. But man, it's always in the back of my head, and I don't want to put the chemicals and the bullshit on him. There was one day he left the house with like shorts on, and I was like, felt like his mom. I'm like, you go back inside, put pants on now, young man. He was like, okay.
Socks over your pant legs, like, yeah.
And one thing I'll just throw out about our product is that we do have efficacy data from the lab that it is effective up to 2 hours against ticks. And it probably works longer, but we did the testing for 2 hours, and it was 100% effective for those 2 hours, but probably longer. But we only paid for 2-hour testing,
which is a 2-day process. So it was a really expensive, because they run that 2-hour testing like 8 times.
Intervals. Yeah. That makes sense. I was wondering, because I know with homeopathics and with essential oils that they're potent, but only for a short period of time. And so, but that's easy for people to get around. Set a freaking timer on your phone, right? Spray yourself, set a timer for 2 hours, and then reapply. Like,
you reapply sunscreen. It's like not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal.
Although I know so many people who forget to do that. And I'm like, they show up red, and I'm like, well, didn't you put on sunscreen? Yeah, I forgot to reapply. That's why I'm a fan of, especially those of us with Lyme and mold and brain fog. Use your tools, right? Set your alarms. That's what they're there for. Like, set yourself up to win, right?
Absolutely. We set our alarm to do this today.
Exactly. My alarms are my best friends. Yep. Sweet. So thank you so much, ladies. This has been a blast. And I'm just so honored to get to know you guys and your story and what you're doing in the world. But this is like shameless plug time. So where can they find you? How can they get your stuff? Like, what are you promoting these days? Like,
so 3momsorganics.com, that brings you right to our website, and a little shameless promoting Amazon. And, not so, you can feel a lot of ways about Amazon, but we're hitting markets that we've never been able to hit before.
You just gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, but they just
they're featuring us as a small women-owned business this month, because it's Women History
Month. Shut up. That's awesome. Oh my God.
Yes. Which is huge, which is amazing.
Dude,
really proud of that.
That's some life-changing shit right there. Like, congratulations. Like, you have made it. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so exciting.
And people may feel
people
may feel what they feel about Amazon. but it is helping a lot of small businesses like us get the product out. You know, we struggle.
We struggle with it, but yeah.
But we know that if somebody's buying our product, that
they're staying safe from ticks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The bestest, easiest way. I mean, it makes only sense that if this is where the majority of people are shopping, that's kind of where you need to be. It's just the nature of the beast, supply and demand, right? Like,
Right.
you'd shoot yourself in the foot if you didn't. Like, yeah, absolutely.
The last thing I'll just add, if just for a moment, is just that we offer different sizes. So we have a 2-ounce travel size, we have 4-ounce, 8-ounce, which is easy to throw in a backpack, take hiking with you. And we have a 16-ounce size. So just convenience for different things. I leave the 16-ounce in the backyard, just spray, and just go out, I mean, I'm out in the garden all the time and I always apply it before I head out.
Wait, is it safe for pets?
I was going to say, oh my God, yeah. It's safe for dogs and safe for horses.
Yeah.
Okay. Cats, different animals.
Because they lack an enzyme that breaks down essential oils. So
Right. Yeah, I did know that certain animals, you have to be careful with essential oils.
They're, it's fantastic. And the last thing just about the product I wanted to add is that we also have efficacy data for mosquitoes. So it works against mosquitoes. So it's not just ticks. And the truth is we have, anecdotal, evidence from our customers that it works against a lot of other insects as well. So
I was just going to say, I wonder if it works for bed bugs. If you go to a hotel and spray down the bed before you get in it, like
I never travel without it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a story. A friend of mine, we both went away. I sprayed it on my bed. She thought I was ridiculous. She woke up with bed bug bites. I did not.
Yeah, because people don't realize you can get it from bed bugs too.
And it works for lice too.
Yeah.
So for all those moms out there that, coming into lice season, or it works for lice, it works for the biting green flies at the beach. It works for horse flies. It really, fleas. We are getting in the process of getting it tested, but like I stated before, testing is super expensive. So each year we're going to tick off another
off.
No pun intended.
Geez, that's amazing. So is there any, so dogs and horses, is there anything on the horizon that you can try to figure out for cats, or cats just kind of SOL for now?
Cats shouldn't, and they shouldn't never use essential oils.
Right.
And I don't know, cats also, interestingly enough, don't really get Lyme disease.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, wait, you hear of Lyme disease in dogs all the time. So hell, why aren't we testing cats' blood more often to find out why the hell they're not getting Lyme?
Yeah, so it's the vet that we try to interview a lot of people, and we interviewed a vet, and they think that it's because they're so clean. They constantly clean the ticks off, and so it doesn't have time. But he said we have seen it, but very, very, very few cases, and it's usually with an immunocompromised cat to begin with.
Huh.
So
fascinating. This has been a blast, ladies. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much, Heather.
It was awesome. It was awesome to meet you. Yes. I love what you're doing. I love your podcast. I love the people you have on. The Quiet Epidemic, what that movie is, there seems to be a big push towards the education of people, which is something I've been trying to do. People used to call me the crazy tick lady because I would say it's congenital. I would say it's sexually transmitted. I would say all these things. And they were like, okay, nutball, like move it along. But I'm glad
finally now people are getting the message. I think there's been a lot more, education more recently. I think doctors are finally catching on. And so it's through work that you're doing and what we're doing. And I think that there's more of a movement, which is nice to see, that people are catching on, that this is a chronic illness. Really, it can be. And also when you treat somebody for Lyme's, you have to treat them for longer than just 2 weeks with doxycycline. So I feel like good things are happening in the Lyme community, and the word's getting out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, ladies, I can't say thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate everything you're doing in this world and for being here. And everybody else, folks, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Like, education, awareness is the key. And also, while you're at it, if you want to get the free mini cooking course that I made, go ahead and check out my website, thelymeboss.com. It's called Real Cooking for Real Life. So many folks, that's their biggest hang up, is like they don't know what to cook or how to cook. Well, I made a little cooking series, so check it out.
I like that.
Great.
And have a healthy day.